Hello to everyone. This is Professor Peter Finn, Head of St Mary's University College in Belfast, and you are very welcome to our virtual open event for prospective applicants. The purpose of the event is to provide you with important information and insights on our college and its undergraduate degree programs. Now, in normal times, open days are held on our campus, and we attend many events in your schools. But as you know, these are not normal times. So we are now using a digital platform to connect to our target audience, and our target audience is you. Let me say a word or two about the technical aspects of what we're using this evening, which is Microsoft Teams. First and foremost, it is not TV broadcast. It's using broadband, and it may not be perfect. In fact, with TV broadcasts, things can go wrong as well. So the one thing I'll say to you is that there may be times when it's not perfect, but stick with us, because for the most of the time, this is a good format for such an event. We're not doing questions and answers during the course of the session. We'll have questions and answers at the end. Now, you're thinking of applying to St Mary's University College in Belfast. And I have to say to you, there are essentially four key characteristics of our institution. The first thing is, it is small. For a higher education institution, in fact, it's very small, about 1,000 students. There are many, many positive benefits about an institution being small, particularly the way in which you can engage with each other as students and engage very positively with the staff and basically know everyone. But St Mary's is also an affiliated institution of Queen's University, which means that all the services and facilities at Queen's University are available to you. So in many respects, you get the best of both worlds, a collegial college environment and a top Russell Group status university. The second characteristic is that St Mary's is specialist. We do two things. We do teacher education and liberal arts. That's all we do. So all the focus goes into those two areas. We also promote ourselves as a rather distinctive institution. First and foremost, St Mary's is a faith-based institution in the Catholic tradition, but it is fully inclusive. There are no barriers to entry to St Mary's, other, of course, than the entry requirements at academic level. And the second aspect of our distinctiveness is the extent to which the institution is engaged with its local community. Finally, St Mary's, and you'll be glad to hear this, is a high-performing institution across a whole raft of measures. But possibly the most important one that you want to hear about is the very high proportion of our graduates who end up in graduate employment or further study at the end of their time with us. The campus is very comfortable and well equipped, and developments are ongoing. In fact, we've just recently completed the rebuilding of two new IT centres in recognition of the digital world we live in. And very soon work will commence on a new student hub, a place where all our services for students are brought together in one place. And then finally, there will be a £5 million development starting next summer of a new state-of-the-art library. Team sports are very popular at St Mary's, and that's a very important dimension to life for students here, as indeed is international student mobility, which you'll hear about later. But really, you're here this evening to learn about the Bachelor of Education degree programme in teacher education and the Bachelor of Arts in liberal arts. Now, to help you first and foremost with the Bachelor of Education programme, I'm going to introduce two very important people. Dr. Martin Hagan, who is the head of the programme team for the BEd degree, and Dr. Claire Connolly. And Dr. Claire Connolly looks after all our partnerships with schools and is the person that organises all our placements. So I'll hand over now to Dr. Martin Hagan, who will talk to you about the Bachelor of Education degree.
Thanks for that, Peter. Good evening, everybody, and I'm delighted you're able to join us. I'm delighted that I'm able to talk to you about the Bachelor of Education programs that we offer. To tell you a little bit about the structure of the programs, every year students will study 6 what we call modules. And if you think of these as building blocks towards your professionalism as a teacher. And within those modules, we study education studies, which looks at the big underpinning ideas about what we do and why we do it. Secondly, you will look at curriculum studies, which is the nuts and bolts of what goes on in the primary school classroom, or indeed in the post-primary school classroom. Thirdly, then you will have modules which relate to particular academic subject, which may be music or history or technology and design or any of the subjects which we offer. And then finally, we regard these modules as the most important ones, and we call them the professional development and school experience modules. And everything else plays into these modules because they are where you actually learn your craft and your skill as a teacher. They are the modules which take place in large part in schools. So collectively, there are 6 modules every year. You study those modules during the course of 4 years. And at the end of that, then you walk out of St Mary's as a very highly qualified person. In the first instance, as Peter mentioned there, you will leave with a Bachelor of Education honours degree from Queen's University, Belfast. And Queen's is a member of a small group of universities called the Russell Group. And these are recognised internationally as very prestigious universities. So you will leave St Mary's with a very high qualification in terms of your degree. Secondly, you will be recognised as a teacher by the Department of Education for Northern Ireland. And you will also be registered as a teacher by the General Teaching Council for Northern Ireland. And again, that is a very important step and a very important aspect of the work that you do and the achievement that you leave the college with. Perhaps more importantly, though, we like to think that we create the St Mary's brand of teacher. And the St Mary's brand of teacher is one who absolutely loves their job, who loves their profession, who loves working with children in schools and classrooms. And so for that kind of person, getting up on a Monday morning is no chore. It's something that they really enjoy. And we feel that the work that we do with our students here in the college leads to that St Mary's brand, that St Mary's type of teacher, one who loves the profession and the work that they do. There are lots of stories that you will see in the media about the employment of teachers. And you will hear stories that there are no jobs for teachers when they graduate and so on. That is not what we find in our experience, because every year surveys are done when students leave to find out basically where they are and what they're doing having graduated from the college. And what we find is that the vast majority of our graduates are in either full-time or part-time employment. In days gone by, people walked into a job as a teacher and stayed there for life in many cases. That's not the way it is anymore. Some of our students will get full-time permanent employment. Others of our students will get part-time employment, and they will move between different schools over a period of time. And that's a really good thing because it helps you develop your craft and your profession as a teacher, and it broadens your experience. We also have a number of students who move to further fields. So we have a number of students who move and work in England or Scotland, some who work in Europe, Spain or Germany, and many who work in the Far East, in Qatar, Middle East and Qatar and Dubai particularly. And that is a wonderful experience because not only, as I said earlier on, is your BEd degree a very prestigious qualification, it's also a great passport to take you to wherever you want to go to work as a teacher. So don't be afraid of employment prospects because there is work, and that work is good work. And as I say, most of our teachers, most of our graduates secure that work when they leave St Mary's. So I hope I've managed to give you a little bit of a taster of the programme and its value, and it is a very valuable programme and a very valuable degree for people to have. I mentioned the professional development and school experience modules, and so now I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Dr. Claire Connolly, who is responsible for the placement of students in schools. And Claire will tell you about how that is done and how that works and what it feels like and looks like from your point of view as a student. So I wish you all well, study hard, it's very important that you get the necessary grades study hard, and hopefully I might see some of you come September next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Martin, and welcome to all of you. It's lovely that you've taken the time to find out a little bit more about St Mary's and in this case the BA programme and the LA programme. I'm going to speak very specifically about school experience. And school experience is at the very heart of the BA programme, the Bachelor in Education. Martin described that there were 6 modules in every year, and I certainly believe that the most important one is school experience, and I think many of our students share that thought. The way that this works is that you will do a placement every year of your 4 years. Normally, at this time of year, students will have spent a few days in school. First of all, getting to think about how schools work. Now, I know you've spent the last 14 years in school already, but this is where you start to look at school from the teacher's perspective. It's very different to studying for your A-levels. So you're looking at schools through the eyes of a teacher and starting to think about the children and the pupils that are sitting in front of you. So you'll spend a number of days in schools getting used to that in the first semester. We also hope that you'll get the chance to meet the children that you will teach in the second term. In the second term, you will spend a block of 7 weeks, between 7 weeks, and then as you go on in your 4th year, you'll spend 10 weeks in school. In first year, the year that you would be coming into, you would be spending 7 weeks for the primary students. That will be in a foundation or key stage 1 classroom. That's from primary 1 to primary 4. And for those students who opt for post-primary, we place you in a primary school in the first instance because we think it's really important that you get experience of managing children, of understanding how to communicate with them, to engage them in discussion. So we put those students into key stage 2. This is a very different type of work from studying from your A-levels. And when you come to St Mary's, you'll spend a lot of your first term engaging in academic studies and in studies that prepare you for teaching in classrooms. When you go into schools, you will have such a range of experiences, but one thing that is absolutely essential is that the schools and teachers that work with us are hugely supportive of our students. I asked some of our our second year students what their thoughts were about school experience last year, and they said it was incredibly hard work, very different work to studying for exams and so on, but that you were absolutely exhausted after a day standing in the classroom. They talked about the importance of the extracurricular skills that you have. Those skills and interests will be so valuable to you in the classroom. One of them said to me, you have to remember that children are really good fun, but don't try to be their best friend. They also say to remember that to work hard and that when things go wrong, that's okay. You enjoy it because you're learning and you're learning how to become a teacher. And one student said that she remembered that the children made her laugh. And when things got really difficult, you had to think about the child that you were making a difference to their lives. So teaching is a very, very valuable career. It's something that you can give back. And now we're going to go to a video, some of our past students talking about teaching and some of our current students explaining why they have chosen teaching. So thank you for your time.
My name is Mcavoy and I'm currently a BA3 student in St Mary's studying English Primary. I live quite local to the area and have always had strong links to the college through their summer and Easter programmes. The reason that I chose teaching was from a young age I've always been actively involved in the local community. I began volunteering when I was 13 and I've continued that right through until now. For me, seeing the difference that I could make through art, drama, sports and activities for these young kids in the local area was the best thing for me. I also always loved learning and education and loved reading and was always inspired by my own English teachers at school. So I thought linking the community work along with the educational side teaching would be perfect for me. I also was so lucky to have such inspirational teachers, and seeing my sister also through St Mary's for me, I just knew that it was the right place to be.
I'm Rory. I am a 4th year student studying primary teaching with mathematics. The reason that I decided to follow a career in teaching is because of the influence that teachers had on me and helping me reach my potential. and I want to help as many young people as possible reach their potential in the same way.
Hello, my name is Aisling Johnston. I studied BEd Primary with Mathematics in St Mary's University College, Belfast. I am now a literacy support teacher in the Lochran Craigavon area, where I support children on a one-to-one basis, remotely or in school, who have literacy additional needs. I love my job. I love teaching. I've always wanted to be a teacher from I was a little girl. The opportunity just never came my way. I love that moment when you're working with a child and they are struggling with a concept, they just can't get it. And then you see their eyes widen and it's that light bulb, aha moment, and they've got it. It's worked, it's clicked. It makes all the struggle, all the hard work really worthwhile.
Hi, I'm Anya Gallagher and I'm in my 4th year completing a BEd Music Primary degree at St Mary's. I chose the degree because I love music and it's allowed me to develop skills within my own instruments, which are harp and piano. The staff and lecturers have been so supportive and have helped me feel really confident about teaching music in the classroom. I really enjoyed teaching music around schools in Belfast with members of my class. It's been a great experience.
My name is Rory Dumman, a BEd 4 primary student with Irish as my main subject. I decided to follow the BEd course because I wanted to learn the Irish language and learn teaching strategies at the same time. I found that this course allowed me to learn the language and learn how to effectively implement it in a classroom in an Irish medium setting. Therefore, this was the best decision for me. What I really love about this course is the small class sizes and how well linked the subject knowledge is with the teacher learning. I found that over my past 3 years in the college that this has allowed me to become the best teacher possible, and I look forward to implementing it when I finish my degree.
My name is Maria Mooney and I graduated from St Mary's in 2016. I graduated having done the BEd PE course, and after a year working in the Students' Union I moved to Madrid. And I've been here ever since. This is my 4th year now working in a Swedish primary school and I love it so much. The weather in Spain of course is great, but my favourite thing about my job is the people I get to work with, and the Swedish style of teaching and learning is great. So yeah, I'm really happy. All thanks to St Mary's.
Well, I hope that you really found that section very informative on our Bachelor of Education and degrees, both primary and post-primary. And I thank Martin and Claire for their inputs and the information that you've now received. But let's reflect for a moment on that wonderful video which starred, so to speak, our present students, or indeed those who have recently graduated. One thing is very clear. Those involved in teaching, and Martin mentioned this, love teaching. That's what they want to do in the morning, and it's very clear from the video that that is the case. But they also love their subject, and we know you've come through school, through GCSE and A-level, and there's a particular subject that you really love. And the great benefit of the BEd degree primary at St Mary's is that it allows you to carry both initial teacher education along with a subject that you actually love. In the post-primary, of course, you carry 2 subjects because you'll be teaching those in the school later on down the line. So listen, we move on now to another section of our event this evening, and that is to bring in 2 very important former students. These are the president and vice president of our students' union. Now, these 2 students have undertaken their degrees, they've been successful, but they've been elected by the students last May or June to represent them and the student body in this academic year. They are Declan Murphy, who is the president, and Caelan Dillon, who is the vice president. And I think it's always important that you hear the perspectives of students, particularly student leaders. And so therefore I'm going to call in Declan first to talk about his work in St Mary's and basically what his experience has been to date. So over to you, Declan.
Thank you, Peter. Jade Eve, agus Falchar Valeg. My name is Declan Murphy. I recently graduated from the BEd Primary Education degree here at St Mary's University, where I spent 4 of the best years of my life. St Mary's will open up so many doors for you. They allow, accommodate and organise study abroad opportunities such as Erasmus and the programme that I partook in, the Business Initiative Programme, or more commonly known, Study USA. I studied in an American university for an entire academic year. I lived in Indianapolis, Indiana, and travelled all over the country for 12 months. This experience wouldn't have been possible without the constant support and guidance of the staff here at St Mary's. I am now the President of the Students' Union for the year 2020-2021, but what exactly is a Students' Union and what does it do? The main role of the Students' Union is to give you, the students, a voice. We campaign for the rights of its members, which is you, and we lobby on key issues, and we bring them to the attention of the university, the National Union of Students, and even sometimes the government. Every Students' Union will have a dedicated officer to represent you on a range of issues such as education, welfare, disability, diversity, the environment, and many more. If you think your university needs to address something or look at a certain policy, let your Students' Union know. We're here to help and advise you wherever and whenever it is necessary. Here at St Mary's, there is an emphasis on mental well-being of our students. Each year, we run a series of events, such as bringing in the animal petting farm, bringing in life coaches and trainers to give talks, and we always run a wellness week with a specific theme relating to mental health. Our doors are always open, so call in to the Students' Union for general advice, a chit-chat, and we will always be able to signpost you to the best possible people if we are not able to help you. We're here to help you enjoy your activities, for you to broaden your horizons, and most importantly, for you to meet new people. Your Students' Union will have a number of officers who help organise sports and societies on campus. They will be your first port of call to help you find out what is on offer. The Students' Union organises trips, activities and nights out during Freshers Week and throughout the rest of the year, as well as the Freshers Fair, where you can sign up for as many clubs and societies as you want. I will now introduce to you the Vice President, Caelan Dillon, who will tell you more about this.
Thanks very much, Declan. Good evening to everyone watching. My name is Caelan Dillon, and I am the Vice President of the St Mary's Student Union. In summertime, I graduated from St Mary's with a degree in primary school teaching, specialising in science. I loved my time in St Mary's, and I wasn't quite ready to let the place go just yet. So myself and Declan ran for office in the student elections, and here we are today talking to you now. My role as Vice President has me take charge of the college's clubs and societies and the social events. So all of the fun stuff basically. St Mary's has a huge array of clubs, ranging from Gaelic clubs to performing arts to snow sports and everything else you can think of in between. For such a small college, we're extremely high achieving in a sporting sense. Our team won a Sigerson Cup in 2017 and reached the final again in 2019, which is the Premier Division of men's college football. Our hurlers won the Fergal Maher Cup in 2017 and 2018. And in 2018, our ladies footballers won the Moynihan Cup and our camogie team won the Father Meagher Cup. All of this success for such a small institute epitomises that famous ranch spirit, which you've probably heard about and which hopefully you will experience next year. In the Students' Union, we try to ensure that all interests are catered for in the ranch, and we're open to setting up new clubs if there's interest, which will give all of our students a chance to pursue their interests, whatever they may be. In terms of the social events, no other university in Belfast even comes close to replicating the crack you'll have in the ranch and the friends that you'll make here. The small size of the college really helps foster a sense of togetherness and family among our students. And I'm certain that some of the closest friends that you will have for the rest of your lives will be made here in your time at St Mary's. That was the case for me. The social experience of being a student is just as important as the academic aspect, even though some of the lecturers might not thank me for saying that. And you can be guaranteed that nothing tops a ranch night out. Our Students' Union organises regular nights out for students, including UV parties, Halloween balls and Christmas parties, just to name a few of the events. These nights are always jam-packed, very affordable, brilliant crack, and offer a fantastic opportunity to mingle with people on your course or in your college. To everyone listening to this, I'd strongly advise everyone to come to St Mary's next year. It's the best experience that Belfast has to offer, and I can promise that it will be the best decision that you will ever make. I know it was for me. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll pass you back to Peter.
So a big thanks to our two student union officers who have just spoken to you about life beyond the academic, life beyond the library. And I know Caelan said that the lecturers may not agree that the social life and the sporting life is just as important as the academic life. Well, actually, the head of the institution does agree. Attending university is a holistic experience. And when you're choosing a university or a college, you've got to think of the academic as well as the social and sporting and all aspects that go with that. So you've had a very good introduction there to St Mary's from two people who have experienced 4 years, and indeed in one case a year in America, and it's up to you to decide if that's the place for you. So we've covered the Bachelor of Education degree, which leads directly into teaching. But 20 years ago, St Mary's introduced another undergraduate degree, which has a number of branches of it, but it's called the Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts. And it owes its origin to a form of education that's very popular in the United States of America, where many undergraduate students who do not really know what they want to do at 18 or 19 years of age take a general degree with lots of experiences and lots of skills involved in it, and then make their choice on their specialism after they graduate. And you know, that's our BA in Liberal Arts at St Mary's. It has three components. The first is a subject. It could be physical education, religious studies, English literature, history, whatever. In America, they would call that your major. That's what you're majoring in, a Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts with, for example, physical education. And that makes up 50% of the modules that you take over the 3-year degree. Now, the second component is what we call international studies, both from an economic and a cultural point of view. Very much a focus on Europe, the place of Ireland in Europe, and indeed the place of Europe in the wider world. And those modules are compulsory in years 1 and 2. And then there's a very unique set of modules under the heading Human Development Studies. It's a broadly based area, including some ethics and philosophy and political science. And it also includes a really important element, which we call work-related learning. You could call this work placement, or in the United States, they call this internships. As I say, most students take this 3 years of study as a springboard to a specialism, and they would normally go to a postgraduate course here or a postgraduate course somewhere else, another institution, and specialise. At that stage, specialising towards a career. And hundreds of our graduates over the last 20 years have gone into careers such as teaching or marketing or business or accounting, a whole raft of different areas. And that's the great benefit of the liberal arts degree. It allows you to specialise after those 3 years. The 3 years have a lot of emphasis on skills development, oral skills, communication skills, a whole raft of different skills which are needed for the employment market. So it's in that context of the broadly based liberal arts degree over 3 years that I now introduce two of the tutors. One is Dr. Tracy McKay, and Tracy specialises in communication skills and professional development, and the other is Joan Campbell, and her work here is to find placements for students to enable them to undertake work-related learning. So I call upon Tracy now to provide you with some insights into the liberal arts degree from her perspective.
Thank you, Peter, for that very warm introduction. It's a pleasure to be here tonight just to spend a few minutes with you outlining one of the distinctive elements of our liberal arts degree. And as Peter has suggested, that is the emphasis that we place on developing your communication skills, your verbal skills and your written skills. Now, these are skills that are highly valued by employers. They are skills that you will need for professional life, but they are also skills that you can apply immediately across all modules of your liberal arts degree. So what do we do? I'd like just to give you a flavour of what those courses would involve if you did come to us as a first year student. In the verbal communication skills classes, we explore different elements or different aspects that make up successful communication. So we focus on things like your voice and how you use it. We focus on the non-verbal aspects of communication, body language. We focus also on the language that you use. We explore strategies for both expanding and developing your vocabulary. And we also, in that first year course, explore our listening skills. And I'm laughing to myself here because we do have a lot of fun in these sessions as well. And that one on listening skills usually gives rise to a laugh or two. My colleagues on the written side of the communication skills course run seminars that are intended to help you become confident in your own writing abilities and also in your own writing style. And how do they do that? Well, they aim to model what we would call best practice through sharing with you excellent pieces of writing, so you get a really good idea of what good written communication looks like. These seminars, as you might imagine, are very topical. And in speaking with one of my colleagues the other day, we were commenting on how 2020 and the unique year that it has been has provided really rich opportunities for students to reflect and also to write about the year that we have just lived through. So how do we do it? These courses are workshop based and they are seminar based. We place a very, very strong emphasis on group work. We place a strong emphasis on scenario-based learning and also on learning together. And I used that word fun before, but we do. These classes usually take place on a Wednesday just before lunch, and students are getting ready to go off and spend the afternoon with their clubs and societies. So I like to think that these classes, particularly in first year, put people in a very good frame of mind, because they're also about sharing our experiences together and a great emphasis on experiential learning. So that's the style I would adopt in the verbal communication skills, and I know my colleagues in the written communication skills adopt a very similar approach to teaching and learning. We place a really big emphasis on getting to know each other as learners. And I think this is one course in the college where I actually learn as much from you as hopefully you will learn from working alongside me. Now you might be asking, how do I know that these courses are enjoyable? Well, I know because when I bump into St Mary's graduates, usually out in the world of work, or maybe if I'm walking down the street in Newry, and we reminisce, and we have what I call those do you remember moments, where we stop and we reflect on some of the fond memories that we have had from these applied classes, those classes that take theory into action. So just to recap, these courses on communication skills are about people skills, they're about your skills, they are focused on your personal and professional development. And like I've suggested, the student feedback that we get suggests students do enjoy them and they take a lot away from them that they find useful. I would describe the students' feedback as heartwarmingly positive. So I think that's an important point for reflection. So if I had to tie my little section together, I would ask you to think about the following. If you are looking for a degree where your skills are at the core of what we do, where you can apply what you've learned, where you can get to know your tutors and vice versa, and where after 3 years you can look back and think, you know, that module was really useful, and also to look back with some laughter and some very, very fond memories, then I would say look no further than what we do in the liberal arts degree at St Mary's, because I promise you, you are at the core of what we do. It is your development that we are interested in, and we will help you every step of the way. And sometimes that means giving you a little push taking you out of your comfort zone, giving you an opportunity to really showcase what you have learned, and I think what you have become as a result of your time with us in the college. And it is about the journey after St Mary's. It is about looking for where you can go after your liberal arts degree. And with that in mind, and with a focus on careers and where we can go with our liberal arts degree, it's my pleasure this evening to hand you over to my colleague, Joan Campbell.
Thank you, Tracy. Hello and welcome to all of you. And as Peter indicated earlier, work placement or work-related learning is very much at the heart of the liberal arts degree. It involves spending 2 6-week periods in and attached to an organisation. One of those 6-week placements will be in your year 2 and the second will be in your final year, your year 3. Now, with regard to the destination of your placement, will be based very much on your own ideas, but they will be informed ideas. In that right from year 1, you will be engaging with the college careers officer and with myself, and you'll be exploring what direction you might like to take. Now, the nice thing about the liberal arts degree is that with regard to career, it's a blank canvas. Some of you will maybe join us next year with very fixed ideas of what you want to use your degree for. Some of you might have no real idea of your direction, and some of you will change your mind during the duration of the 3-year degree. But I want to reinforce that we are here to support you in whatever direction. So through careers office, through your choice of placement, and hence why you can have 2 periods of placement, because if you change your direction, you can change the nature of organisation that you might choose for your second placement. Now, common to all placements is an attempt to enhance your employability skills. Now, in the short 5 minutes, I'm only going to focus on 2 of those. And the reason why I've chosen these 2 is that if we look to employer-based research on employers taking on new graduates, there are 2 areas of shortfall that reveal themselves, one being communications and the other being team skills. Now, we would hope that through your periods of placement, you will probably be involved in work shadowing. You might be attached to a project or an initiative that's been undertaken by that organisation. You may be working directly with client users. You may be given some research to do and have to feed back on that either in a formal or an informal way. All of these endeavours will enhance your communication skills as outlined by Tracy, and also will play into that ground of you either being a member of a team or even leading on a team. All of those essential to existing within the workplace. Now, you'll also be taking on arising from some of the business elements that you do within your degree, an understanding of an organisation's strategic plan, their annual reports, their governance, their policies, regulations, change of laws. And before I lose you, you'll understand all of these things before you embark on your placement directly from some of the modules that you will undertake. Now, with regard to graduates and where they may either in a postgraduate sense or directly into the workplace, I have to say that most of those are informed by where you have spent placement. It all begins to gel together. Only to give you a few examples, students have pursued accountancy. They've done so maybe by swinging one of the graduate programmes in the like of Deloitte, Ernst Young. Some have taken the technician's route by applying for and been nominated by an accountant's office to pursue their professional qualifications. Others will choose to do a postgraduate course out at University of Ulster and then endeavour to become employed within an accountant's office. There will be other students that are very much into retail graduate schemes. We've had students going through Marks and Spencer's, Sainsbury's, Tesco's. Marketing is also a very popular field. If we look to either the event management side, digital marketing is becoming, and particularly in the climate that we're in at the moment, it makes sense with so much moving online. In the video clip that you'll see after my presentation, it features one of our graduates, Gary Dunlap, and he swung a graduate corporate scheme with an American company, and I can only compare what he had to go through to the Alan Sugar Apprentice Show. But he got through it, and he has also gained promotion while being with them. Politics is another area that lends itself to career direction, particularly in the area of human rights. We would have quite a few students would embark on postgraduates in masters in policy with human rights or law for non-law graduates. And that will bring them into areas such as civil service, local government, government policy or corporate governance offices. We also have human resource management as another interest. This morning I completed a reference for one of our students who currently, having completed her HR diploma, is with the 5-star Merchant Hotel HR team. And she's now applying for a job in the Finnebrogue Artisan Meats Company, which is a fast headlining company operating on a global level. Now, this particular student served her placement with Finnebrogue, and she's maybe going to, by way of promotion and getting nearer to home, I would hope that she will hopefully swing that position. Also, PGCE, liberal arts, is a very good fit with achieving a PGCE and going into teaching as a career. I could go on, but if I'm to end, it probably would be trying to put myself in your shoes. We're coming through very challenging times. We're maybe beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel with vaccines. But the economy is somewhat upset, and it's going to take a number of years to settle. And I can't think of a better place to be than to be in full-time education, pursuing a degree in a readiness to enter into, hopefully, a refreshed economy by the time the passing of 3 years. So on that note, I wish you the best with your studies. I do hope at St Mary's that you come and pursue your degree standard qualification. And at this point now, I will hand over, you will view a video which will feature some of our undergraduate and graduates, and hopefully again will enlighten you to maybe coming our direction. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lucy and I'm a third year Liberal Arts with Religious Studies student at St Mary's. What I love about the Liberal Arts degree is the broad level of study. For example, I have studied European films and philosophy to European business and human rights, while also studying for my Religious Studies degree. I have found the course to be very enjoyable and engaging, and I'll be really sad to go at the end of this year, as I have loved my degree and also the St Mary's community that I have been a part of.
My name is Gary Dunlap. I graduated from St Mary's in 2017 with a liberal arts degree focusing on history, and at the minute I'm currently the market manager for Glendalough Distillery here in Ireland, both north and south, and I also manage the European countries of the Netherlands and Italy. I started off my career with Glendalough in the United States, working in Washington DC for a year, and then I came back here and that's where I got promoted to the position where I am now. The reason I started studying liberal arts in St Mary's was because I wasn't too sure on what avenue I wanted to go down after finishing university. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do a PGCE or a master's or just get a graduate job. So the liberal arts degree gives you an array of options for finishing university. During my final year in St Mary's, I was able to go on work placement with Hughes Craft Distillery, and it was from this work placement I was able to get the knowledge, the experience and the taste for what I wanted to do after university. And it was with this work placement that I got my current job and the career that I'm in now. So it's all thanks to the liberal arts degree.
Hi, my name's Amy and I'm currently in my third and final year of my liberal arts degree in St Mary's. I chose to do liberal arts with religious studies because when I was in school I really enjoyed religion but didn't want to do a theology degree. Going to St Mary's meant that I got the religion aspect of it, but I also got a wider knowledge and a bigger skill set through my liberal arts studies. St Mary's being such a small community means that the support is amazing and there's always someone around every corner willing to help you at a moment's notice.
Hi, my name is Hannah Lochran. I studied liberal arts with PE at St Mary's University. I graduated in 2016. I chose liberal arts because I still wasn't sure what career that I wanted to pursue. I then decided that I wanted to go on and do my PGCE, So I graduated from that in 2019. I've been living and working in Dubai now for 2 years, and I'm a PE teacher here, teaching primary and secondary. For those who are considering liberal arts, I would definitely recommend it because it opens up the doors, especially if you want to travel.
So there we are. That has completed our section on the BA Liberal Arts degree. And you know, I appreciate that that term liberal arts can be very difficult to understand. Well, what do they really mean by liberal arts? What's that all about? Having listened to Tracy and Joan, I'm sure you're much better informed now about what a liberal arts degree with a subject is all about. But the real endorsement has come from the students and the graduates that you've heard from. I mean, they have done very well out of it. And just at a personal level, another form of endorsement. My own son left school a number of years ago with good A levels, but he wasn't clear what he wanted to do. He wanted to keep his options open. He joined the college here to do liberal arts with business. Last year, he was very fortunate to get a placement in a very reputable business school in Zurich in Switzerland. And this year, he'll be working in a company in Cheltenham. And I know his objective now is to do an MSc in business management at Queen's University and hopefully join one of the companies that Joan spoke to you about. So now you know an awful lot more about the liberal arts degree and you can make your choice accordingly. Earlier, when I was speaking to you, I talked about high performance and that one of the characteristics of St Mary's was its high performance across a range of performance indicators. One of those is most definitely pastoral care and support. So we're now going to have two inputs in the area of pastoral care and support. We're going to be listening to the head of our Student Guidance and Support Centre, Deirdre Cree, and we're going to be also hearing from Rory Wilson, who works with Deirdre in the team. So let me assure you that there's virtually no student going through a university or college today who doesn't at some stage need guidance, need support, need pastoral care, and let me assure you there is no better institution about than St Mary's for pastoral care, and I say that with great confidence. So I'm handing over now to Deirdre Cree, who will talk about her role and the role of the support service that we provide.
Thank you, Peter, and good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk to you about student support here in St Mary's. Student support is at the heart of everything that happens in the college, and you will find support available at every level. Students receive support on a daily basis from their tutors, from staff in the offices, the writing centre, the library, and in the college workshops. And that support goes a huge way to keeping students on track. But sometimes that support just isn't enough. And that generally happens because life happens. Events happen and those events threaten to derail students at times. And that is something that we try our utmost to prevent from happening. So you may find that you have a period of time in your life when you're very stressed. There might be personal or family illness. You may be coping with disability. You may have a particular challenge, or simply life gets on top of you and you feel very, very overwhelmed. And it will be at those points in your life here in St Mary's that the Student Support Department and the staff here will have a role to play. We offer additional support to that which is available from your tutors and from all the college staff. And within the department, we can help you regardless of what the issue is. If we can't help you, we will seek out the source of help and assistance from outside the college, and we do that on a regular basis. Whether the issue is academic or pastoral, we will do our very best to help you with the particular issue that affects you in your life at any given point. Now, when you come to St Mary's, hopefully in September, you will have a student number. But you are so much more than a number whenever we deal with you in St Mary's, because our approach is person-centred and you are dealt with as an individual on an individual basis with individual issues and challenges, if that is appropriate. So you might ask the question, well, what exactly do I mean and what exactly is available? And it can be difficult to quantify student support, but I try to describe it to you in the following terms. The first thing is that we operate an open door policy, which means that there is always someone here to talk to, someone who can offer you assistance, signpost you to appropriate sources of support, or simply just listen to you if that is what you need. And many times that is all a student needs, just someone who has the background, someone who understands the stresses, to just have a chat. Because we operate the open door policy, we won't tell you to come back next week. We will deal with you if and when you need us. Now, we have a designated college counsellor, and the counsellor is physically on campus for a number of hours, 3 days a week. Access to the counsellor is immediate. We pride ourselves in the fact that we never allow a queue for counselling to form. If the need increases, then so does access to the counsellor. And we never limit the number of sessions that any student is allowed to have. So you can have support for the entire duration of your time here. This service has been a huge support to students in the past, and I'm sure many of you in the future will find that that is a source of support. Now, we also have a programme of support tutors who can help you if you experience difficulties at any stage of your time here. And intervention is immediate, and once need is identified, we move to match you with a tutor, and the support will be individual to you. So, for instance, at times students have difficulties with motivation. They might have difficulties with planning their work schedule, meeting deadlines. Once we know what your individual difficulty or challenge is, then we move to match you with someone who can help you. And just in exactly the same way as in your communication skills classes, you would learn to use those skills across the board. The skills that you would learn from these support tutors can be used in every aspect of your academic life. Now, disabled students are also very welcome at St Mary's, and meeting the needs of disabled students is a significant part of what we do in student support. And in a few moments, my colleague will give you more information about the nature of what is available to students who have a disability. If I had to summarise what is available in student support, what I would say to you is that if you do attend St Mary's in September 2021, and we very much hope you do, you will be joining a college with a real sense of community, a college that has students at its very core, and I can promise you that you will be well looked after and well cared for. The bottom line is this: if you need us, we will be here, and we'll be here when you need us. Now, as I said a few minutes ago, disabled students are very welcome in St Mary's, and I'm now going to hand you over to my colleague Rory Wilson, who has particular responsibility for disabled students, and he's going to give you more information on what we can do to help and assist and scaffold that particular group of students. So it's over to you, Rory.
Thank you very much, Deirdre. Hello everyone. As Deirdre mentioned, my name is Rory Wilson and I am the Student Support Officer here in the college. I'm also a graduate myself of St Mary's, graduating in 2016 from Liberal Arts with Irish, and then again in 2018 graduating from the PGCE in 2018. I suppose it's somewhat fitting that I'm a graduate of the college, as I understand firsthand the worries and the problems that students face within the college. Right now I'm going to talk to you about my role as Student Support Officer and as a Designated Disability Officer for the college. Of course, as Deirdre mentioned, my main role is to support the students of the college and to help them with any issues that may arise while they study here, be it large or small, professional, academic or personal. As the college's Designated Disability Officer, it means it is my job to ensure that any students who study here are supported to the best of our ability. Disabilities can range from physical disabilities, such as hearing or eyesight impairments, mental health issues, to learning difficulties, such as dyslexia. We aim to put support measures and reasonable adjustments in place to ensure that the needs of those with disabilities and learning difficulties are met. Support is provided to those with disabilities internally by the college and sometimes externally by processes funded by the Education Authority. If you're deemed to have a disability, it is my job to ensure that reasonable adjustments are in place which are tailored to your specific needs. These can vary from extra time and examinations to flexibility with some deadlines throughout the year. We do this by creating something that we call an ISA, or an Individual Student Support Agreement, which is an agreement from the college that these support measures or reasonable adjustments will be put in place while you study here at St Mary's. As I mentioned previously, there are also external support measures which are funded by the Education Authority, mainly the Disabled Students Allowance, or DSA as it is known. Anyone with a disability, mental health issue, or specific learning difficulty is eligible to apply for DSA, and I can help with the application process if needs be. The support measures that are normally provided by DSA, if you are successful, include assistive technologies, support tutors, and note takers for those who need them. I would highly recommend that those who are eligible to apply for the fund do so come the time, as it is a great benefit, and students of ours in the past have spoken very highly of the support that they have received from the Student Support Fund and the DSA. I would also like to speak about learning difficulties. As I said before, the college aims to support those who have been diagnosed with learning difficulties to the best of our abilities. However, the process is slightly different to that when you were in school. In order to be eligible for the external support such as DSA, the learning difficulty has to have been assessed post-16 or when you're 16 years or older. If you have not been diagnosed after you're 16 years of age, student guidance and support in the college can arrange a dyslexia assessment for you while you're here. The same also applies to those who suspect that they may have a learning difficulty. Maybe the feedback from school coursework and teachers has stated that you need to work on spelling, punctuation and grammar. If so, again, we can arrange an assessment for you to guarantee that you're getting all the support that you're entitled to and to make your time here at St Mary's as comfortable as possible. Myself and Dergie are both based full-time here in the college from 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and as Dergie said before, the open door policy is always there. I really hope that you have learned some new things about the student guidance and support in St Mary's and that you have found it helpful. And on that note, I would like to pass back to Peter.
Well, thanks to Deirdre and Rory for their input there on student services at St Mary's. A very, very vital, important aspect of a university or college, and one that you really need to think carefully about before you make a selection. Okay, viewers, we're coming towards the end of our event this evening. Thank you to all those who attended and joined us for this unique virtual event. I hope you found it very helpful, very useful. You, of course, can follow up by exploring our college website, and particularly something called the Undergraduate Degree Hub, which brings you through the journey of applying to St Mary's. There's a wealth of information and advice and help there if you go to our website. Just let you know that this event has been recorded, and if you want to get the recording and go back and listen or watch any particular aspect, you can do so. Remember, St Mary's is not part of the UCAS system, so applications to St Mary's are made directly to us through our website. And just to note that the closing date directly to the college is Wednesday, the 13th of January 2021. Now, I know we're running a little bit ahead of ourselves here, but there'll still be time for a PowerPoint presentation showing aspects of student life at St Mary's. You know, life in every institution, school, university, college has been very different this year, but just before the lockdown, we got some lovely images, and that'll give you some idea of the happy environment we have here at St Mary's. And then after that, we'll move to the Teams meetings, which will involve our subject tutors and some of our students, and that's where you can engage in questions and answers. It remains for me, the head of the institution, to say best wishes for the studies that are ahead for you, for the examinations that no doubt you will take, and indeed best wishes for your choice of university next year. Thank you.